This is the startup interview. Decision-making decisions. Question number 1. Describe your approach in making decisions and solving problems. Why do you do it this way?
I'm a hands-on person. I want to do everything from the most menial job to the top by myself. In starting my first food cart branch, I was the crew. I cooked fries and served the customers. The reason for this is to learn the business from all angles.
Next question. When you recommended something to the management, what approach do you usually use?
I was the management, but at the time my husband was a sitting partner, so I discussed things with him and make analogies as to why we need to do things that way. Giving examples and precedents from other businesses was my approach.
How much leeway do you give your employees in making decisions? How do you maintain control?
I actually encourage my crew to decide on their own in order for them to learn how to face problems. But even then, they rely on me so much, so basically I still have control. This is when I realized that Filipinos are still hung up on just being paid and not participating in the scheme of things. They are like nails that need hammering constantly.
Next, how do you make sure that your employees are accountable?
This is for administration questions. Yes, they have their own stations or branch to take care of, and they are responsible for their stations. If sales have discrepancies, it is deducted in their salaries.
What do you typically do when you hear a problem in your area?
I go there myself and fix it. If I am too far to go, I assign someone to go there.
Leadership questions. How do you get your employees to follow you?
Well, by emulating a good example, participating in good business ethics, I set by example and not by an iron hand. It may be wrong for others, but that is my way.
How do you use power authority to get what you want?
Not pushing it is one. It is by someone's stature and conduct that a person can exude authority.
How do you delegate responsibility for an assignment?
I usually assign a leader for each task. A service crew can be the team leader when doing an event, especially since he or she has more experience on that task. I chose the person who has the needed skills for such assignments.
What and how do you delegate, and what do you monitor and follow up?
Selling and supply replenishing are the tasks that I delegate. I monitor the sales and follow up the collection. But I should have assigned that to another entity or person, since the money won't be coming in if they always ask for extension from me, and I usually allow them.
How do you describe your management style?
Well, my management style is not that of Donald Trump, but rather of Mother Teresa's, and in business, that is not good. On the other hand, my conscience is clean and I can sleep at night. I'd rather be the victim than be the bully, usurper, or user.
Evaluating performance. How often do you evaluate your employees?
Monthly basis, and as we go along and observe. I do an on-the-spot promotion or increase if need be. On the other hand, an offense, even committed once, can lead to termination, especially involving sales and money.
How do you get your employees involved in their own evaluation?
By conducting meetings with them all present and have an open dialogue, and also to an individual one-on-one for each is my own way to get them involved.
How do you evaluate your own department's overall performance?
By looking at the sales, supplies, and branch expansion. If nothing is moving, then something is wrong.
How do you plan for performance improvement?
By giving incentives when the company grows. The employee should be rewarded, in my opinion.
How do you measure performance in your area?
If supplies are kept delivered on time, sales are up, and more branches are established, then I know that the performance is at its best. Otherwise, an overhaul is needed in management.
Employee relations. How do you go about developing the people you manage?
I treat them like my own children or siblings. I tell them what I see wrong in their behavior that affects the business as well. I advise them that whatever they do now will affect their morality and future dealings. I also tell them to dream big and not be stuck as a service crew.
How do you help employees become committed to a job or organization?
Giving them a higher salary per task per day and motivate them to achieve more. To love their job and love the company as well is what I tell them to instill in their minds.
How do you deal with attitude problem?
Advising the person to get rid of the attitude. In some cases, that may be good for sales, but if it is offensive, it has to be nipped right in the bud.
What sort of employee training do you think is necessary to offer?
A retreat type of training, a team building with the number one CEO, God. I think it is necessary. Every blessing or sales increase must be shared and offered to the Creator Himself.
How do you develop trust and loyalty in your employees?
I treat them like family, pay them well, and advise them as to how they should live their lives. Trust and loyalty are very expensive commodities that are easily ruined if not taken care of.
Planning question. How far in advance do you typically plan activities for yourself and your employees?
We go by day to day, so it is hard to plan for at least 2 weeks in advance is the norm.
How do you assess priorities? How do you then assign them?
By making the franchisees need my priority and assigning them to a manager. My own branch's management is delegated to another manager.
Organizational relationships. How would you deal with politics in a workplace?
Discourage it at all costs. That is where corruption and negligence can erupt. Politics is dirty, and in the workplace, even worse as it becomes a virus.
How do you typically get cooperation from another department?
By talking to the person and stating the benefit overall and for everyone concerned, build bridges and not burn them.
Have you had to make an oral presentation to other managers? Explain.
Not within the company, but to our landlords or prospective franchisees, I have to make a presentation always, even on TV interviews and magazine features, like this one. So, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for interviewing me.
Thank you.
And have a nice day.
Thank you.